And welcome back. So you'll notice that I am not wearing my usual outfit. That is because we are doing some research into some Far Harbor consumables, and they require this outfit to be equipped. So let's take a look at what we got here. Now there are 8 items that I want to take a closer look at. There are 4 general items, 3 that are really anybody can use them. Although they are unlocked through various different means. And then these 4 items here, which are kind of obscure, but are amazing specifically if you are doing a Child of Adam related build. And I'll get to that in a sec. So I wanted to start with the Seasoned Rabbit Skewers. Now you'll notice it gives you a decent amount of health, but it gives you +1 luck. Now I wanted to focus on this because even though Far Harbor has a lot of consumables, and most of them are banal. They just a few hit points, maybe give you a few rads, whatever. But this item in particular stands out because it is the only food item in the game that gives you a bonus to luck. Now, there are chems that give you bonuses to luck. And if you have the Party Boy, Party Girl level 3 perk, all alcohol gives bonuses to luck. But this is the only food item that gives a bonus to luck. So it stacks. So you could take a whiskey with the Party Boy 3 and get that +3 to luck. And then you could also take Calmex Silk, which gives you another +3 to luck as a chem, and then eat this, and you'd have a total of a +7 to luck. All from consumables, not counting your base luck and your equipment bonuses. So this is a really nice thing to keep in mind. Luck doesn't come up too often, but on those rare occasions when you want it, this is a nice little extra +1 drop you can toss in there. Now the next item I want to talk about real quick is wolf ribs. Wolf ribs are kind of weird because they say they give you a small accuracy bonus. What they actually do is they give you the stabilized armor mod effect, but because it's not on armor, the multiplier is 0, so it just actually doesn't do anything. So there's no accuracy bonus with the wolf ribs, but it's still worth getting the wolf ribs because they give you night vision. And I know that it says exteriors, but it actually works in interior spaces. That's why I actually have the game set to nighttime right now, so we can go and take a look at this in real time. Now, pop these wolf ribs. See how the lighting changed? And we are in an interior space. And see, this is what it looks like in an exterior space. Now, granted, this area is pretty well lit, and the bunker that I was just in is also pretty well lit, so it's hard to notice a difference. But when you are in some sewer or an abandoned building in the city, and you're in some really dark corner, it makes a significant difference. All right, so the next thing I want to move on to is, let's do the Where's Brew first, because that's pretty straightforward. So Where's Brew, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. This is an unlockable, craftable thing that you can get from one of the side quests in the Children of Adam in Far Harbor inside the nucleus. And it heals 100 health points and removes 100 rads. Now, in survival, it only heals 10 rads, but it's instantaneous. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I figured it was worth mentioning because I don't play survival, so I don't really know if instantly healing 10 rads is a good or bad thing. I mean, I would imagine healing 10 rads in most scenarios is always a good thing, but this doesn't quite work the same in survival, so be aware of that. Now, the last item I want to talk about is Fire Belly. Now, you see that it looks like a stim pack. It actually also shows it over here as well, but this is misleading because even though it looks like a stim pack, when you pick it up, here, let me show you. Drop it on the floor. See, you heard it when I dropped it? And when I picked it up, it makes the alcohol sound or the beverage sound. And you can get addicted to this and you'll get alcohol addiction, not any kind of chem addiction. So even though it looks like a chem, this is alcohol. But that does mean that it's affected by the Party Boy perk. Because you'll notice here, the minus 30 is now doubled to minus 60. And my luck is at a 3. If I use one of these, now it's a 6. At least levels 1, partially level 2, and level 3 all apply to Fire Belly. So if this increases the damage bonus, you know what? Let's find out. Let's find out if this increases the damage bonus right now. So now I'm at 4 hit points, which means Fire Belly should be maxed out. And nope. Didn't change the multiplier. Still only times 2. So it does get partially affected by Party Boy. Level 1 makes you immune to the addiction, because I've used it multiple times, didn't get an addiction. Level 2 does double the health point loss, but not the damage that you deal. It doesn't double this bonus, just this one. Or this penalty. So it doubles the bad part, but not the good part. But it does give you the plus 3 luck. Now you may be wondering why I have these two groups separated. That's because these 4 items are made at the cooking station, whereas these 4 items are made at the chemistry station. They are all found under the sludge category once you get the magazine, I think it's number 4, which is the recipe roundup, the Islander's Almanac. I have a guide that I put together on where to find them. This one's actually pretty easy to find because it's in a location where you go for a side quest anyway, so you can just pick it up while you're there. Now, let's talk about the thing I'm really here to talk about, and that is these sludge-based substances. Okay, so now we can get into the real good stuff. These 4 substances right here, these sludge items, all of these are made using condenser fog. And all of them either give you large amounts of rads, or in one case, reduces your resistance to radiation. Now, for most people, they look at these, you're going to look at these things at face value, they're trash. But if you're playing a Child of Adam build and you have lots of rads, these items are amazing. I'm going to show you guys how to make these items incredible. All right. So first up, we have the Agile Sludge Pack. So what this does is it increases your action point regeneration rate as your rads increase. So the more rads you have, the faster your action points will regenerate. And this lasts 12 minutes. All of the sludge things, they all last 12 minutes. Now, I don't know, I haven't tested them yet if they're affected by the chemist perk. I believe they should be. I'm going to test them and I'll let you know at the end of the video. So the Agile Sludge Pack, it's not a consistent amount. It's not like every 200 you get 5 extra points. It's like 150, 150, 200. And it caps at 800 rads. So at 800 rads, you get plus 20 action points per second of regeneration. So let's see how this works. Let's just run down our action points here a little bit. All right. So let's see how that does. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000. So about 10 seconds to get halfway. So it takes about 20 seconds to fill up the bar, roughly. And that's some very rough estimate ballpark. Now, let's do Agile Sludge Cocktail. One 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. But less than 5 seconds to refill your bar. That is a huge, huge buff. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the 2 sludge cocktails. We want to talk about the Resilient Sludge Cocktail first, and I'll explain why I've got these other things here in just a sec. So the Resilient Sludge Cocktail, as you can see, it increases your health, your maximum health, but it also reduces your radiation resistance. So when you're using these sludge-based chems, you're going to want to use this one first, right? So you see now, my health went up to, it was at 520, it went up to 595 now. And I have no radiation resistance now. The only thing I had giving me radiation resistance was my Robes of the Devoted, or Robes of Adam's Devoted, and that just give me 25 because I don't have any rads right now, right? So what that's going to do is it's going to make me even more vulnerable to the rads that I'm going to get from this. And that's the real big deal here. Because, well, you'll notice I've got 184 hit points, right? Now watch what happens when I use one of these. See how my health went up? This doesn't say that it heals. So how did my health go up? And I'll tell you how. The Ghoulish perk. Now, under normal circumstances, the Ghoulish perk on a Child of Adam build like this one, where you're having super high rads, but you have that super high resistance from the Robes of Adam's Devoted, the Ghoulish perk is normally useless. Because your rad resistance is so high, you're not taking any rads, so you're not really actually healing anything. Because this only heals you based on the amount of rads you actually take, but you're not taking any. So normally this is useless, but the high radiation resistance that you have from the Robes of Adam's Devoted, you see how it gave me 5? If I then go and use... See how my health starts going down again? Because my rad cap is hitting me. But wait for it. Now it's going up again. Because the Robes of Adam's Devoted kicked in, and now I don't have a health cap from rads anymore. So I can use this and heal up again, and see I'm back at full health. And that was all instantaneous. I didn't need to log out and use the stim pack and wait for it to refill. It was instant inside the Pip-Boy. I didn't have to exit the Pip-Boy. And it healed me back to full. Now, in addition to that, it gave me a +5 strength. And I believe I already have... Let's see, what do we have here? Show effects. So we have the +5 strength from the Strong Sludge. Oh, and the +5 strength from the Mysterious Serum. So we have +10 strength here. And that puts me at a 13. I started with a 3 strength. This is a low strength build because you really don't need strength for anything. I'm about to show you why. Now, if you wanted to put it up to a 4 strength, I don't have the strength bobblehead. That would give me a 4. But we'll get to that in a second. So we got the Mysterious Serum. We got the Psycho Buff, and we got the Dirty Wastelander. So that should give me a 19 strength, right? Look at this. 416 melee damage and 718 radiation damage. And this build, it's not even built for this weapon. Look, I don't have any ranks of Big Leaguer. So I could do another 100%, which would probably just about double this. So you don't even need to build for this weapon. With this build, you don't need to build for Adam's Judgment to be really devastating with Adam's Judgment. Which is why I didn't decide to focus on Adam's Judgment for this build. You don't have to. And what I've done is, or I shouldn't say what I've done, what the developers did is they made this low-key the best healing item in the game. Not one of the best, the best. Because it is instantaneous healing inside the Pip-Boy. You ever been at a sliver of health and you open your Pip-Boy and throw a stim pack? And then, oh, that's one of the drawbacks. You want to be careful when you're using the Mysterious Serum, because it will give you slow regeneration of rads over time. And it's a lot. It's 36,000 rads that the Mysterious Serum heals. So it will, if you don't use it first and make sure that that part is worn off, it will completely heal all of your rads. So you want to be careful with that. But this is instantaneous in Pip-Boy healing. So, like I was saying, if you get hit and you're like, oh, I'm at a sliver of health, and you open the Pip-Boy and you go and throw like 4 stim packs, and then you close the Pip-Boy and you see your hand with the stim pack in it stabbing yourself in the chest, and then the enemy shoots you and you die anyway. This negates that. Because when you open the Pip-Boy, you're already back at full health. It is the fastest healing in the game. I have never seen an item that heals you as quickly as this item does when you have this set up on your character. But you got to build for it. That's the thing. Under normal circumstances, this item is garbage. But on this particular build, it's amazing. And as if all of that wasn't good enough, here's another cool thing that you can do with this if you've got a bunch of these. So I would recommend, because you have to, like I said, these are made with condensed fog that you harvest from the fog condensers on the island. So you're going to want to run around the island harvesting from all the fog condensers, as much of this stuff as you can, right? Now you look at my health here, I'm at full health. Now watch what happens when I start to use these. My radiation over here is going to start to go up. My health is going to start to go down. And then as we already saw, my health is going to heal again. But I don't know if you noticed it before, but I'm going to point it out when it happens this time. Watch. See that? Right there. You can. And now I'm back at full health again. You can trigger. So look at this. This was doing 64 points of damage now. Now it does 129. You can trigger Nerd Rage at will. You can now control your Nerd Rage bonus. Yeah, now one of the things I will recommend, for this ghoulish perk, I've been playing around and testing with it. I think 2 is enough. You don't want more than 2 because you start getting a negative feedback, especially never take 4. Because 4 will passively heal your rads and there's nothing you can do about it. You will just constantly have passive radiation healing and you don't want that on this build. So definitely do not take the 4th one. Same thing with the final stage of solar powered. It's solar powered 2. So you don't want to go past stage 1 with solar powered. You can grab 1 because that's just a bonus to strength and endurance during the daytime. But 2 and 3 will start to heal your rads and you don't want that. So don't take level 2 of solar powered. Don't take level 4 of ghoulish. And I would actually recommend don't even take level 3. Only take 2 levels. I didn't put this in my build because I didn't discover it until I started working on this video, which I made after I was done with the initial build. But this is something that if you want to wiggle it in there, find a way to squeeze the 2 ranks of ghoulish in there so that you can get healing from these radiation consumables. This is huge. It is huge. So, one final word of caution on the strong sludge cocktail. I don't know if it was the 2 ranks of ghoulish that caused it, but I came across a weird glitch where when I was using the strong sludge to heal and I got really low to the point where Nerd Rage activated and I used another one and it didn't heal me, it just instantly killed me. I had to reload to an earlier save and the glitch went away. I don't know what it was. It works perfectly fine now. I don't know how I caused the glitch, so I don't know how to address it, but be careful with that. So yeah, that is the highlights. That's not every consumable in Far Harbor, but I wanted to highlight these ones because they were especially good when I really dug into them and looked in to see how I could play with them and kind of juice them up a little bit. And some of these were really amazing. So highly recommend these. If you guys know of any other obscure consumables in Far Harbor that I might have missed, please let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'll add them to the video or do another video in the future. But for now, thanks for checking out my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.